Welcome to the class. In this class, we are going to look at parts of a speech. We will talk about what they are and how they function in language. We are going to look at some details of it in this class for today. The first question that comes to mind: what is a part of a speech? As you can see, the title says parts of a speech. So, just by looking at the name, you can assume or you can conclude that they are going to be several items. Parts, it's a plural word. There are going to be several items. So, what is a part of a speech? In order to answer this question, we need to know the components of language. As we know, the most fundamental component to language is sound. We combine sounds together with some rules, restrictions to make a word. Words combine together with certain principles to make a sentence. Different units of a sentence is what we know as parts of a speech. Some of them are quite visible, and it is the name given to a word based on how and what it does, what it performs in a sentence. There are several of them, as I mentioned to you. To be precise, there are 8 of them. So, broadly speaking, when we look at a sentence in English, we can categorize different parts in 8 categories. Therefore, we say there are 8 parts of a speech. What are they? Look at the names. They are nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, articles, conjunction, and so on. So, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Today, we will talk about few of them. We are going to talk about verbs, we are going to talk about nouns, we are going to talk about pronouns, and then we are going to talk about verbs. We will come back to rest of them shortly. We need to know, we are going to look at a sentence in great detail. But we need to know verb is one of the most significant component in a sentence. So we are going to start discussing verbs, then we talk about nouns, and then we'll talk about pronouns for today. But one more time, I want you to know that these 8 terms you should know very well. These 8 terms will help you learn English as a language very well. They are going to appear several times in the course. And the more you know about them, the better you know about them with clarity, the better you perform in this language. Please keep in mind, this is a language that determines your success. This is a language which examines your performance. It's a language of profession. It's the English is not just a language, it's a parameter which examines you in many ways. So, to learn it, to develop your confidence, please look at it carefully. We are going to look at verbs. What is a verb? As you can see, in short, we know it as action word. So, when we are talking about verbs, now we are going to talk about how it works in a sentence. So, we are going to show you examples of sentence and then several other things about sentences we are going to discuss shortly. But Look at this. It's a word that talks about actions. Sometimes it may not have any action, but we will talk about that as well. So action words, and also the word that indicates the state. These words are called verbs. As we have seen, it's one of the most important element of a sentence. How is it important? You are going to see its importance in the sense that every sentence must have a verb. So, one of the things that we learned today about a sentence is there is no sentence without a verb. If you see no verbs, that means that's not a sentence. That may be sequence of words, that may be a phrase, that may be something else but not a sentence. So, one thing that we learned today to begin with about a sentence is every sentence must have a verb. And the second thing that we know about them is only verbs carry tenses. You may have heard about tense, like we have past tense, present tense, future tense. The elements that indicate time. So, those elements appear only on the verb. And as we said, a word that shows action or a state. So let's look at an example to understand that. So when we say, take this example, Riyadh plays cricket 3 times a week. This is a sentence. In this sentence, we are going to help you identify verb which indicates physical action, which is underlined here. What is this? What activity does it describe? It talks about playing. So it comes into this category of action word. So, and it comes with this thing as well, which indicates which tense and lot of other things that we need to know about it. But this is the verb. So, the tense rule, since we have mentioned about tense, present, past and future, the rule is we are going to have something like this in a sentence. Then we have a verb, and this is the verb that will have tense on it. So, to repeat, in this sentence, you have play as the verb. It carries the sentence. This sentence has present tense on it. You get to know about that information only from the verb. And this is a good sentence, that is a well-formed sentence, grammatical sentence, because it has a verb in it. Let's look at another sentence. Here, the sentence is, I am a teacher. Now, look at this sentence. This sentence doesn't have a word like play. Then what is a verb in this sentence? This sentence has am. Look at this underlined thing. And this word indicates state or situation. In general grammatical descriptions, these terms are called auxiliary verbs. So, look at this. And most importantly, these are also markers of tense. So, am here is indicating present tense in this sentence. So, the rule is I am, you will see he, she, it will have something else, they. So, all these three, because they are singular, they have some other markers, and they, because this is plural, they have got some other markers. I has a special status in the sentence, in the language, therefore it has a special marker in present tense. So, basically, from this discussion, we learn about 2-3 facts. Verb, what we need to understand what is a verb. It's one of the important parts of a speech. It's an important thing in language. It's a word which shows which shows two things. One, state of being or the action. In the first sentence, you see action. In the second sentence, you see state of being. It's a word which carries tense also. So in the first sentence also, you see it carries present tense. In the second sentence also, you see it's a marker of tense. The other thing that we learn about it is every sentence must have a verb. So you can understand the significance of a verb in a sentence. Moving forward, we have several auxiliary verbs. Like I said, some of these elements are called auxiliary verbs, and they are also called helping verbs. And here we give you a list of them. You can, for the time being, you take a look at it. We will take you through the classification of these things. We will also tell you where they are used, how we use, and how these things work. So, you can see here we have some examples of verb be. So, we have am, are, is. They are all about present tense. And was, were, these are past examples. Then we have can, could, do, have, may, might, must, shall, should, will, would. These are all different types of auxiliaries, that is auxiliary verbs in English. And when it comes to action verbs, we have a lot of them. There is no dearth of action verbs in any language and also in English. So, but auxiliary verbs are counted in numbers. We are not giving you an exhaustive list of all the auxiliary verbs here, but they are, this list has a lot of them. So, when we look at this distinction, verbs that indicate action, they are far too many in number in any language. And only with the action verbs, we will see later, like a verb like play. We see action verbs are also of two types. That is, according to the nature of those action verbs, we see some of them are transitive and some of them are intransitive. Play is an example of a transitive verb. We will look at this distinction, these details about this type of action verb little later. So we are trying to tell you a lot of things about this word, which appears as a word in a sentence and is an important part of a speech, is an important constituent of a sentence when we speak. You know, a sentence is a basic unit of conversation. As we discussed in the beginning, a sentence is made of words. There are a lot of other things that come in together to make a sentence, but what we overtly see are words. And those words, when they appear in a sentence, they belong to different class, different category, and they have different functions. So according to all of them, they are divided into 8 categories, what we know as parts of speech. So let's look at some of the examples for practice, and you can do this practice on your own as well with the help of other sentences to check whether you identify parts of a speech or not. You can take this sentence and try finding all parts of a speech. All part of the sentence must belong to one or the other part of a speech. But since we have discussed only verbs, as of now, we are going to find what are the verbs in these sentences. So, therefore, we are going to ask you to find them. We are going to help you with this list, and then you can take some more examples of these types. Take a sentence from any source and try finding verbs in that. So, they fought like cats and dogs. So, fought, this is an example of a verb. Please keep the pen on the book. Keep is the verb. Philosophy is an interesting subject. Now, fought is the past tense marker of fight. It's an action verb. Keep is an action verb. But philosophy is an interesting subject. Here you have only auxiliary verb which indicates a state. I took a beautiful photo of the sunrise. So, took is the verb. I love you. Love is the verb. She danced so well. Dance is the verb. It's a beautiful dance. Now, we are talking about a state. So, is the verb. Go. Now, look at this. Seems like this sentence, this has only one word. And this is a sentence. And what does this sentence have? A verb. It has 8 legs. Has is a verb. Can you get a glass of water? Can is an auxiliary verb. It's a question sentence. And get is the verb. You must get them. Must is an auxiliary verb and get is the verb. So, in the last two sentences, you see the reason why can and must are called auxiliary verb, because they can appear independently to indicate a state, but they also appear in the presence of the main verb, and therefore, when they are assisting or they are in the presence of a main verb, they are called auxiliary verbs. So, when they have a main verb, the function of an auxiliary verb is something else. So, this is the example of it. Take more sentences like these for yourself and identify verbs in them for you to be certain about what is a verb. All these underlined words in these, what are they? Remember the two types, action word or word that indicates state. All these underlined words in these several sentences indicate either one of the two. Therefore, these are verbs. Here are some more exercises, and these are the things that we are asking you to do. So, what are you going to do with this? So, take the sentence and make it gives you some options. So, pick the right option that makes the sentence grammatical. My uncle making dinner. Is making dinner or are making dinner? Because here is my uncle, which is singular. So, we take singular verb, making dinner. Now, in this one, what is a verb? This is an auxiliary verb and making is the main verb. Your friends because it's plural, are nice. Here, only one verb. The teacher reads every day to children. So, teacher singular, so singular verb and an action verb. The dogs like to go for a walk. Here, dogs plural, therefore like. Now, here, like I said, we will discuss a lot of other things about a sentence later, but here is a time for me to show you how a sentence will have only one verb. Look at this sentence. You feel like this sentence has several verbs. So, the dogs like to go for a walk. Seems like walk is a verb, go is a verb, and like is a verb. but the rule still holds. It has only one verb. So when we say a sentence has only one verb, what we mean is it works according to the subject of the sentence, and only one element in the sentence is going to work that way, and that is the verb. Rest of them, if they look like a verb, that means they are verbal nouns. So because dogs and like, because of its plurality, you have the verb like here. So only like is the verb in this sentence. To go for a walk, this is a different kind of construction. Likes to go for what? For a walk. So like to go is a verbal noun. It's really a noun, but it is made out of a verb. Therefore, it is called a verbal noun. We will have a discussion about this later. But I take this opportunity to underline and indicate it for you that a sentence will have only one verb in it. They are swimming in the river. So they plural. So are, this is an auxiliary verb, and swimming is verb. Are as an auxiliary verb indicates tense. You are making a lot of noise. So are auxiliary verb, making main verb, a lot of noise. Remember, you, even though we refer to one person, you is a pronoun. We are going to discuss about pronoun shortly, which is known as second person pronoun, and in grammatical agreement, it always takes plural form. So we never say you is making noise. We always have to say you are making a lot of noise. She sings well, very well. So because this is she is singular, so sings very well. So now you need to pick. So the sentence says plays. So this is singular. In the park. So what is singular? Child or children? Children is plural. Child is singular. So the child plays in the park. If we say children, then we have to say play in the park. Here is an example. So here the children play in the park. They have a bottle, because they is plural. So here we get plural. You saw how I looked at these aspects of verbs and how we decide which verb makes the sentence grammatical based on the singularity and plurality of noun. So we also need singular and plural information for making sentence grammatical. But this is the part we discuss somewhere else. Right now, we only ask you to focus on types of verbs. So look at which sentence has which type of a verb. Some sentence has only the main verb, some sentences have only auxiliary verbs, and some sentences have both, where you have an auxiliary verb and you have a main verb. So identify them and see what makes the sentence grammatical. This will be helpful, this will be fun, and also this is one of the most important part of being grammatical while speaking, while writing English language. So it's going to stay forever with you, and it's going to make your language look better. Now, we come to another part, another thing, another type of speech, which is known as nouns. So, what is it that we call a noun? Very simple definition of this element is it's a naming word. That name given to anything like people, places, things, animals, feelings, ideas, and you can add more to list. But it must be the name of something. So when we look at an example, look at this sentence. Arjun went to Greece for vacation with his family last year. So all the underlined words in this sentence are nouns. So Arjun is the name of a person. Went, remember, we just discussed, this is a verb. To Greece, Greece is the name of a country, so a noun. Vacation is the name of the thing that they were doing with his family last year. So all these underlined words are nouns, they are names of something. So we are describing them here. So, and when we look at the details of it, they can be either countable nouns or uncountable nouns. So look at them. What are they? Is Arjun a countable noun? Is Greece a countable noun? Is vacation a countable noun? Is family a countable noun? Is year countable noun? Or are they uncountable nouns? So you can categorize them in two parts. Now, since we are looking at only noun, so we add one more piece of information for you here. Countable nouns are proper nouns, class of nouns, or collective nouns. So only one object is proper noun, like John, Patna, Sunday, India. These are called proper nouns. Class, what is a class of noun? When some word refers to the whole class, like when we say cat, it's not a proper noun. Cat is a word, is a name for the entire class of different types of cats. Tiger, house, hill, and so on. There are so many words which are called class nouns. Collective nouns, part of a noun, whole class of an object as a group. Cabinet. So the words like cabinet, police, jury, government, corporation, these are the nouns that are called collective nouns. And uncountable nouns are always abstract nouns or material nouns, where it's not possible to count them as the name suggests. So things like ability, gravity, goodness, hardship, these are abstract nouns. And material noun refers to concrete objects like gold, water, rice, wheat, etc. So look, gold and gravity both are uncountable nouns, but there is a difference between the two. One is abstract noun, the other is material noun. And this category helps you understand the class of nouns and noun as a part of a speech. So noun is a word in a sentence, but it can have different categories. Please have a look at it. Now, in the following examples, we are asking you to find nouns. So remember, we are taking some of these word sentences. They fought like cats and dogs. So what are the nouns here? Even if you know nothing, only based on what we have described here so far, cat is the word, dog is a name. Please keep the pen on the book. So pen is the name and the book. Philosophy is a name, is an interesting subject. Subject is also name. I took a beautiful photo of the sunrise. These are the names. So look at the underlined words. They are all nouns. Now, couple of things additional about nouns. You just looked at types of nouns here. Proper nouns, class nouns, collective nouns, abstract nouns, or material nouns, where the broader classes are countable nouns or uncountable nouns. These are the different classifications of nouns. Now, I want to give you some functional understanding about nouns, which will help you identify them. So, we already know nouns are names, and they could be names of anything. But there are certain identifying functional features of a noun that will help you identify them immediately, and they'll catch your attention. There are other categories in a sentence. We will get to learn about them one after the other. But look at this. only nouns can be made plurals. So when we say cat and cats, dog and dogs, pen can be plural, pens, books, subjects. So these are, this is one of the categories, one of the functional features of nouns. Look at here, on the book. This is one class of word. This is one class of word. Though we have not discussed that so far and we are going to discuss them, I can tell you this is an article and this is a preposition. We are going to talk about them and we will connect these discussions at that time as well. So a preposition can precede only a noun. An article can come in front of only nouns. So if you see an article in a sentence, the following word must be a noun. So these are some of the identifying features, functional features of nouns. Now we are going to talk about pronouns. What are pronouns? Very simple. It's another class of words in our speech. This is another type of parts of a speech, and it's a word that replaces a noun. In other words, it's a word that comes in position of a noun. So we can say, when we look at this sentence, Rahul went to Kerala with Rahul's mother. Rahul really enjoyed spending time with Rahul's mother. Look at this sentence. When you read this sentence, it sounds a little odd. So what happens in this sentence is, if you rewrite them using pronouns, then it sounds better. And then you are going to see the relevance of pronouns, which is, so let's rewrite this word using pronouns. So you will get to see. So when you read this sentence, Rahul went to Kerala with Rahul's mother. It seems like we are talking about two Rahul. There could be two Rahuls and we are talking about two of them. We can say Rahul went to Kerala with his mother. And then we can say he really enjoyed spending time with his mother. Now, if you look at these words like his, he, his, again, these are the words they are going to replace these nouns. Therefore, these words are called pronouns. This is what we meant when we said rewrite this word. When you look at carefully, you will see several words like I, you, he, she, it, we, they. Some of them are singular, some of them are plural. These are called subject pronouns. Then we have me, you, him, her, it, us, them. These are called object pronouns. And there are other pronouns in English. You will come to know about them and their categories as we look at more details of the sentences. But for today, the important part for us to underline is a pronoun is a word that can replace a noun in a sentence. And it's an important word. It's an important thing to learn because without pronoun, sentences look odd. So now in these sentences, like we have looked at nouns, find out pronouns. They are the same sentences. So they fought like cats and dogs. So we saw cats and dogs are nouns, but they is pronoun. Now what does this they refer to? They does not refer to anything in this sentence. They refers to some people who fought like cats and dogs. Therefore, it's a pronoun. You please keep the pen on the top of the book. So, you is a pronoun. Philosophy, yes, that is an interesting subject. That is also a pronoun. I took a beautiful photo of the sunrise. I is the pronoun. I love you. In this sentence, I is the pronoun. You is also a pronoun. She danced so well. She is a pronoun. It is a beautiful dance. It is pronoun. It has 8 legs. Again, it is a pronoun. Can you get a glass of water, please? You must get them. You must get them. You and them. All these underlined words are pronoun, examples of pronouns in these sentences. So hope this helps you understand the category of 3 types of words in a sentence today. They are nouns, pronouns, and verbs. We discussed in the order of verbs first, then nouns, and then pronouns for a particular purpose. For us to tell you that verbs are the most important part of a sentence. And the more we learn about a sentence, the more we learn about language, you will get to see. So, for the time being in this class, this much. Please do some exercises on your own for understanding these categories. It's worth spending half an hour on each one of these categories to understand them properly. Thank you.